Hello, this is Brendan again, and I'm experimenting with some new software today. Actually, same old software, new hardware. I got a new laptop, and we're working with a System 76, I believe it's called. Let me check real quick. Yeah, 76. And this is a laptop. I don't know if you could call it a laptop. It's just a giant portable computer, the Bonobo series. And well, I had to reinstall my software. It's been a while because I was en route from China to Cambodia, and then from Cambodia to here, having a good old time. And now I'm back in action. So with that being said, let's get right back into what I was trying to do last time. This is partially a video test too, because I've been having problems all day trying to get the video software set up right for this one. But I did a bunch of testing. This should probably work out well enough. You're gonna get a sound like, well, basically it sounds like where I am. I'm in a room. You know, it doesn't have that studio quality. I'm just using the built-in mic. And today I just want to go over these things here. The preferences settings for the GIMP, if you're just using the GIMP for the first time, or if you just had to reinstall in a system. These are all very important things to get comfortable with every time. If you want to use, if you're just learning the GIMP and you're having a bad experience, sometimes that could be because you don't really know how to use it correctly and how the settings work and all that stuff to make it more comfortable. Same thing happens with Photoshop. Anybody who looks at Photoshop for the first time, it's kind of daunting to know what to do with all these buttons and triggers and things like that and how everything works. But so a little tutorial might be helpful with that. Here we are in the environment here. The first setting is the environment. These are all very important. Number of undo levels, it says minimal number of undo levels, and I don't know what that means. It doesn't seem to make sense, because I could understand a maximum number of undo levels. So that number was default to 5. I'm going to leave it there, and that's that. Maximum undo memory. This is extremely important. This is usually when you first open it, it's default to a certain amount of megabytes, and I don't know how many. But you want to get that number a lot higher than it is, because what happens is undo memory, if you're using large images, trying to do any kind of like nice or professional work you want to share with your friends, or for work, it's just going to run out of memory after maybe 3 or 4 undos. And sometimes when you're drawing real fast, such as if we're doing like a lot of brush strokes and stuff, and you start going like this, then that you might want to undo all of those. You never know, it could be a lot of scribbles like this or that, and you want to do all that stuff. What happens is, if your undo memory isn't up high enough, then it's going to run out of memory to do that. So what I do is, for most computers, you're probably going to be safe with about 2 gigabytes. That's a lot of memory, and you can probably do 100 or 1,000 undos, and that's great. That's where you want it to be, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm not sure if the gigabytes is referring to the RAM or to hard disk memory, but either way, I think you're going to be safe with that, because most computers have a minimum of 2 gigabytes of RAM today. If they have any RAM at all, they have that. The next one, tile cache size, I have no idea what it is, and so I'm just going to leave it like that, because I don't have any performance problems with that there, so I'm not going to worry about it. Next one is also very important, maximum new image size. If you go to make a big image, 4,000 pixels wide, or 5,000 pixels wide, because you're going to make a big poster, or you're just doing it for whatever, it would be nice, obviously, if we could make everything in vector, but we can't, not when you're getting into detailed painting styles. At least now we can't. The technology isn't really available for that. And so when you're doing this like Photoshop painterly kind of style of work, you're going to need a bigger image if you want to make professional prints, or just make it look better online and do detail and stuff like that. Otherwise it gets pixelated. So again, I went with 2 gigabytes. That should be more than enough to make any size of image that you have to make. Number of processors to use, it defaulted to 8. I think that's a good number. It's a lot of processors, or threads or processors, whatever it happens to be. After that, you have the size of thumbnail. I personally don't care about this. You can make them large or small. That's probably just the thumbnails that are going to be saved on your system and nothing to do with the image itself. Maximum file size for thumbnailing. Again, I don't care about this, doesn't bother me. Next one is extremely important. Saving images. Confirm closing of unsaved images. That's that annoying message that comes up when you save or when you go to close the program without saving. I would probably keep that checked for most people to be safe. If you never forget to save and you feel safe with that, go ahead and unclick it. Document history. Keep a record of used files, recent document lists. Why not keep it checked? That means you can always go up into File and find the recent images. And if I close this, I can show that to you. Go to File, recent images I've played with. That's just a convenience, really. Okay, so back in the preferences, that's all of that. I'm not going to go through every one of these, just the real important ones. Interface. What's important here is save keyboard shortcuts on exit, because if you play with your keyboard shortcuts, which you should, then this is going to save them every time. Otherwise, if you make new shortcuts, configure your shortcuts, and then close it and open it again, you're going to have to reset them every time. And this is the shortcuts here. For example, I have all of my I'm going to say undo, for example. Normally that's Control Z. As you can see here, I have mine set to the number 7 on the keypad, because I use the keypad. The number pad is actually what I mean, the number pad, not keypad, but the number pad is just real handy, easy place to put a whole bunch of shortcuts. Thing is, I'm left-handed too, so I guess for most people maybe that's not the case. For most people, you're right-handed. You're drawing with your right hand, so you have your left hand free. So you should probably make most of your keyboard shortcuts on like the F, the QWERTY area, in the left side of the like A, S, D, F, Q, W, E, R. Put it all over there on the keyboard. But I use the number pad, and I mean you can also move the keyboard around, regardless if you're like left-handed, right-handed. Maybe it'll work out for you. Cross your hands. I don't know. But yeah, just make sure that's checked. So if you do play with your keyboard shortcuts, then that'll be there. Toolbox Options, also very important to click this one. If you want to save tool options on exit. That means when you close, let's say right now I'm playing with, I have the red color. I'm using a paintbrush, and I wanted to get, well, there's the red color, yeah. And I wanted to have the red color. So if I save and close now, when I open it up, when I open GIMP again, it'll still be the paintbrush and red color, and the size will be the same, and all of the settings will be how I left them. So I think that's very useful, since you're probably going to open and close while you're working on one. If you have a big project, you're going to be working, opening and closing it many times. You can't just do it all at once. Sometimes it takes days to get a drawing or a painting done. So save tool options on exit for me is a good thing to have checked. This one is not checked by default, and you should want to go ahead and do that. Also, tool options, no, not tool options, but the next one, toolbox, is a good place where you can get rid of a lot of stuff in this area over here that you don't need to look at. For example, I never use the ink tool, the clone, or healer perspective. You can see when I click those, they pop up over there in that area, but I don't need them there. I only need the things that I use regularly, which is these tools that I have selected here. So I just this area here enables you to only select the tools that you use, that you want to see, and you can hide the ones that you don't use. I think that's a great thing right there. Default image. Every time you start up a new image, what do you want it to, well, how did that get in there? Anyway, that's not what I wanted. 4,000 by 2,000 is what I usually start with. That's just me. Everybody's different. So every time I go to make a new image, then there you go. It starts off with 4,000 by 2,000, and that's what I want. If you have to set those numbers every time, it could be annoying. If you usually, let's say you're making a comic book and you know what your page size you want every time, then you can set it to that page size, and it'll just, every time you make a new image, it'll be right there for you. So that is in the default image, and also the resolution, which I have to save again. It's better to have up at 300, yeah. And you put a comment in here. That's a default comment that will save with every image. Usually you don't see the default comment. I think maybe if you hover your mouse over an image on some systems, it'll be there. Not a big deal, but apparently it's in there. It's embedded in some images. And that's about it. After that, this is very important if you're using a Wacom tablet, is configure extended input devices. That's under input devices. So you go in here, and what happens is with your Wacom tablet or any other device you might be using in here, you want them to be set to use screen. By default, it's disabled, which means it'll still work, but the pressure, opacity, or pressure of any type, using pressure for size or opacity or whatever, it won't detect the pressure when you're in the GIMP. So you have to come in here and obviously first go to your pen stylus and set that to screen, and then go to Wacom, the pen eraser, and set that to screen. And if for some reason screen doesn't work, try setting it to window, but it should be screen really. And then for these, I disable them. The finger pad and the finger touch, I turn those off because if my hand is resting on the tablet, I don't want it to be drawing accidentally. If you want to draw with your fingers, then you can put those on. I not only turn these off in the GIMP, but also in Wacom settings, and just make sure that only the pen will do drawing. That way I don't have to worry about resting my hand on the tablet. I can set my hand down there and do detailed work and stuff like that. It's a lot more comfortable. And that pretty much covers everything that I find to be important. There's a whole bunch of other things in here. I can change the theme here from big icons to little ones. There's a help system and all this other different stuff. So, but for me, that's the important stuff basically. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That should help you get started with a more comfortable environment. Of course, with the GIMP, when you first get it, it's not set to single window mode, which I also do, and that should save. So if you're not in single window mode, you can go like this, and you'll have like 3 separate windows, which I find to be weird. I like it all to be one window, which I think is more normal, and I don't have to deal with all these weird windows all over the place. It's one big work area to work with. And then that's just that. I could also go into my hotkeys, how I have that set up to make it easy. But for today, I'm just going to leave it here. Thank you very much. Hope that was useful, and have a good day.